Once upon a time, two boys grew up playing hockey in the village of Terrace, British Columbia. One of them went on to play in the National Hockey League. The other became a comedian. Now, one flies planes and coaches youth hockey. The other is still a comedian and owns newsstands. This is their podcast, Enjoying Orange Slices with Jeff and Ian.
Hello, Jeffrey Sharples. My name's Ian Bagg.
What's up, Ian
I'll tell you
Bagg?
what's up, Jeff. The Montreal Canadiens and the Buffalo Sabres, neither one of them want to win the Stanley Cup. They just want to extend I have no idea what is going on in that series.
That series is so schizophrenic. It's crazy. It is
It-
crazy. Uh, no matter how hard one team tries to hand it to the other team, neither team wants to take it. But by the time people hear this, we will probably have a winner.
we
Uh,
should, but according
and unless
luck
they're still playing.
with them, it could be in the 400th overtime, just trying not to win. Oh my God. It's
It's
unbelievable.
crazy. It's been crazy. It's almost hard to process watching sometimes, and that's what makes it so great. I just think it's so unpredictable. Both teams are so unpredictable. Although,
Can I have a theory.
sure,
Both coaches are not known for their not it's not called theory. I'm blanking on the word for it. Their game organization. They're
like
known for more
structure or what?
well not like yeah, structure. There's a certain word that I hear used all the time, but neither of those coaches, they're more known for working with these players individually, right? And kind
Mhm.
of uh and and it kind to me, it seems the series seems more individualistic than team. Do you see any of that, or am I just kind of putting my own thought into that?
I'll take it, you take it, I'll take it, you'll take it, and then it just
Yeah,
turns into a huge kind of like a fire drill at times, especially in their own zone. Both teams have had issues in their own zone. I think um, I think what both coaches have done really well is they've let uh, I mean, it's like express yourself, but I think they've tried to let the best version of what kind of the talent in these players come out, which you've seen. Um, and I think that they haven't tried to pigeonhole them. I haven't tried to they've let them draw outside the lines a lot. And that's created success for both teams. Um,
but
and
it's as you get closer to the pitcher, it's
yeah,
as you get more into the pitcher, you can see how outside the lines they are, right? When you
yeah.
need when you need to be inside the lines. To
Well, and
me,
if you, yeah, and if you look at it, Montreal showed in the Tampa series that I mean, their goaltending was fantastic, but they showed at times that they could really lock it down. In my opinion, Montreal's issue is even strength. For them to win Game 7, they have to be better even strength. Dobis started looking a little bit. He looked a little tired to me the last two games. I know they got three quick ones in Buffalo, and Montreal came back and got him, got the win, but he looked a little bit fatigued. There's been a lot of weight put on that young guy's shoulders. So I think Montreal, if they're better even strength, that gives them the best chance. And of course, that means you're going to have to play behind or well above the puck, but take care of it a little bit, better in your own zone. And Buffalo, it looks like they're kind of found themselves again a little bit over the last game or so, especially in Montreal, where they were just freewheeling it. And I think both teams are at their best kind of when they're freewheeling, especially Buffalo. So they were kind of on Buffalo's top guys, and they got going in Game 6. But Game 7. I mean, I look at Buffalo and they're big and they're very talented. Can they put a little bit of defensive acronym behind all of that? Can they kind of shore it up? And I think the same question goes for Montreal, but more for Montreal, it's even strength with their top guys producing, and Buffalo a little bit a little bit, I don't want to say more careful because I think it's like Maverick said, if you think you're dead, I don't need them to be more careful, just a little bit more aware of the situation, where they are on the ice, where the puck is. And I'm really interested to see these two teams go at it, which by the time everyone's listening to this, the game should be over. But yeah, it's been
Should be
crazy.
over. It should be over, and it should be moved on to Carolina, who must be licking their chops for either one of these teams to be in their next line of sights. I do also have another theory about Montreal goaltending.
Yes.
If your name is said nothing like it's spelt, you'll be a hero there.
Yeah.
I'm
I
just like,
mean,
okay, all right, well.
yeah, I think Montreal is. I think what you're looking at is both teams, fi- you know, finding finding a way, finding their way, not so much a way, finding their way through this, and at different times in the series, you've been like, oh man, this team's they got it going on. They're going to take it over. I've definitely thought over the course of the series that Montreal, it, they had created the upper hand for themselves. But I got to give Buffalo credit. It's been a long time in Buffalo since they've had playoff hockey, and when you're asking for the next level, Buffalo provided it in Game 6 and pushed it to a Game 7. Very impressive. So, and with
Neither
that,
team, do you think? I think neither. I think both of these teams are going to be around for a while. They're the next generation of good teams too.
yeah, I mean, you know what the it's really hard to kind of put your finger on one word to describe, what these two teams are. I mean, the play has been chaotic at times, but um, they're finding, both these teams. Montreal got in last year, so does that playoff experience help them tonight or in Game 7? And does Buffalo have they finally kind of got the shackles off and they're ready to go? Because Buffalo, like the other night, they went up 1-0 first shift, went down 3-1, changed the goalie, and found a way to put another 7 in the net after that and make it a kind of a laugher. But we'll
It
see.
has been interesting with the switch, the changing of the goalies has not been, it's not been tight. They're fine with clicking that button saying next.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that I think that you're seeing the goaltending. I think you're kind of seeing an NHL that's moving towards, you play everybody on the bench, some guys more than others. I think most teams you'll see both goaltenders as these teams move forward, whether it's just to change the momentum of the game or to give one of them a break. So uh, it's exciting for both cities. It's great to see. And you know what? Whoever gets Carolina is going to have to reset very quickly because Carolina is going to be all over them with the way they play and try and take them out immediately.
Well, it's gonna be an interesting game. I watched it Saturday night. No, I didn't watch it. I was keeping up to date on it Saturday night. I was at a wedding here in Virginia, and I was trying to watch it on my phone from time to time highlights. And my wife was like, "Put your phone down. Pay attention. Live in the moment." And so I had to go dance with my 9-year-old niece. And by the time I came back, it was 6-3. I was like, what? It was 3-2, and then it was 6-3. And I'm like, what? Hollis, I can't dance with you again. You changed it too much.
Yeah, but it must have been a Journey song, like 5, 6 minutes long, right? Because
Ugh,
that's all you needed. No,
that's all you needed, right? That was crazy. I did learn something from this weekend. What did you call it? What did they call the finger when you were a kid? What did they call it?
the finger.
Yeah, the finger. What was it? Was it the goose? No, what was it? It was something. It was something the bird, giving somebody the bird.
Yeah.
You know what they call it now?
No.
It's called the silent unicorn.
Oh, really?
Right. So
Wow.
I taught my nephew who's 12 years old because he got caught fingering somebody, not but giving them the finger. And and I said, well, you gotta tell him you gotta give them the silent unicorn. He goes, how do you do that? I go, and a silent unicorn to you, sir.
Affecting today's youth. Like that boy. If you getting a call next time around from, I'm guessing that's Allison's kid.
Allison's kids, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be like you'll be getting a call out in California. You're
Yeah.
banned. You're
You're
banned. Hey,
banned. You're not allowed to talk to the kids anymore. Everybody's been getting a silent unicorn to you, sir.
yes, I do have a question for you though, but
Sure.
I'm waiting for it to pop up here because I have a question because
Okay.
this happened the other night and I think it's phenomenal. But um, in 2014, Alec
Hmm.
Martinez became instant Tinseltown royalty with a goal in double overtime that won the Stanley Cup for this team. That was the
Hmm.
question on Jeopardy the other night. And what team was that?
Well, of course, it was the Vancouver Canucks. No, it was the it was the Los Angeles. When was this on? Was this on Jeopardy not too long ago? It was the
Yeah,
Los
this was
Angeles
on
Kings.
Jeopardy last week. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
and today he's a guest. Today he's our guest, Alec Martinez, dropping by to say hi to us. Well, 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 if it isn't the king of Jeopardy.
I should have known. I should have known you were leading with that. Uh,
Do you
I don't
get
know.
warned before that happens?
No clue. Actually, the first person that texted me a video was my cousin, and she's in Michigan. So she was on East Coast, and then it was like a flood of text messages and calls. Even people around town. I was just like doing stuff in my garage, and all of a sudden, my neighbor, I didn't know she was standing there. She goes, "Hey, Jeopardy guy," and I'm like, "Oh man." But yeah, it was a cool 15 minutes, and my parents were pretty fired up about it. A lot of their friends were texting them too, but I didn't realize how many people still watch Jeopardy
Yeah.
consistently like that. But
Yeah.
no, it was, I mean,
I
yeah, it's all
I'm
downhill from here.
I'm curious if your phone will blow up every so often when there's repeats afterwards, like when it just starts repeating every so often, like you'll just get random people that you haven't heard from in a long time just
Yeah,
blowing up your phone.
just people coming out of the woodwork.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm impressed how hard they're working to find questions with answers like that. Like that one goes back a ways, but yeah, I got a couple texts about it. They go, "You see, Marty was on Jeopardy." I'm like, "Oh, I can't wait for this." But of course, a million people had already texted you about it. What do you remember about that play? Because you scored in double overtime. That was Game
Mhm.
5 against the Rangers, wasn't it in LA? Was it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I still remember that play because
Mhm.
I've told the story before where we were sitting with some friends watching, but I still want to know how in double overtime you're standing right beside the net because the game's changed even since 14, right? Like
Yeah.
now a defenseman stand beside the net, not a big deal. What did you see on that play? Like how did that play evolve? What do you remember about it?
Well, I think like even back then there was starting to become like somewhat of a shift in the league of defensemen getting involved. I remember not that they were like the first ones to do it, but back in like the San Jose days, like with Dan Boyle on D and things like that and joining up into the rush, that always seemed to be it was like, oh, this is where the league is going. And I just for whatever reason it sticks out in my head. Like Joe Pavelski driving down the wing and then pulling up and then hitting that fourth guy coming in late. I guess in that particular situation, with the goal, I wasn't the fourth guy. I'll be honest, it's like I don't know what I was doing there. Um, I was
You're
probably
tired. You're looking for the
yeah,
exit.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was looking for the door. The Zamboni door is right there, and I should have just peeled off and just gone straight down the tunnel. But um, yeah, I think it was just like, I saw an opportunity and I knew, you know, with the way that Kyle Clifford and Tyler Toffoli were leading the rush, I guess I kind of skated the puck out of the zone and then I was able to just be like that third guy hanging out each side. But we had changed too. So I knew that if there was a turnover, we had two guys back um, but yeah, I don't really know what I was doing. I would like to think that I was just following a little bit of offensive instinct and just, I remember skating it up, but I'm like, well, I definitely shouldn't be leading the rush. So I kick it to the middle to Kyle Clifford, and then he kicks it out wide to Foley, and we know how it ends. But I was just kind of hanging around backside, waiting for a little bit of loose change, and fortunately it popped basically right on my stick. I didn't even have time to think about screwing it up. That it just happened in a fraction of a second. But in terms of what I was doing there, I think if I hadn't have scored, maybe a coach would have pulled me into video and asked me. But good thing is that they don't do anything like that as long as it ends up in the back of the net. So I got
Well,
away with that one.
it's two different videos. If when you score, they're like, look at this, and if you don't, they score. It's look at this.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like I always laugh. I was telling this story the other day. It was like my favorite one was like you get pulled into video and the coach is like, "So what were you thinking there?" And you're like what it's like, coach, you know what I was thinking? I was thinking, what, the boys really need a challenge. And I wanted to throw a pizza right at the beginning of the game. I said, "Hey, we're on the road. This is going to be a tough building. Let's just make our lives entirely more difficult on ourselves." And I was just going to throw one up the middle, and I figured let's just start down 1-0 a minute into the game. You know? It's like, well, what do you I'm trying to do the right thing, I never knew how to answer that question. Still don't.
That's a
Other
weird
than with just
question.
a dripping amount of sarcasm.
Yeah, it's a weird question to ask. What were you thinking? Because nobody's like ever thinking that. Is just like I think they should point out that it was a mistake. This was a mistake because some guys might not have known it was a mistake, right? But no, what were you thinking? Like
A pizza up the middle.
Yeah,
I mean, if you don't know that's a mistake,
yeah.
um,
chances are you're not watching that video because you're not in
yeah,
that room, right?
yeah, 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 exactly,
You're on
exactly.
you're on your way to the American League.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, Marty, is like, you were just kind of new to the league or newer to the league back then when you scored that goal. But there's a big difference when you do something in a game, and I have to give these coaches credit now. They play these young guys a lot more than they used to. We used to get banished, but like you throw that pizza up there, and are you thinking the rest of that game like, oh man, I can't, like, instead of just going back out there and wiping it, the slate clean and going, hey, I know I screwed up. The coach is going to say something to you on the bench. Then you go into video. Some of that stuff is like an anchor. It's like luggage. You'll carry it with you for the rest of that game. It's human, right? Human nature sometimes. Like, did you find that, or were you able to just get back to playing the game very quickly?
That was something that I really struggled with at the beginning of my career. Um, I think I did carry it, and I think, as you progress throughout your career, you get a longer leash, right? And when you're a younger guy, the fact of the matter is, unless you're just one of the superstars, if you're, um, a first round pick and things like that, you're going to be given a lot more opportunity. But for a guy like me, knowing that, it's like, if I screw up that early into a game, I'm thinking about it. And it was something that I had to get better at and something that I had to deal with. And even towards the end of my career, I mean, it's you hold yourself to a certain standard and you have a certain expectation from yourself. And when you don't, um, you don't live up to that, well, then it bothers you. So I think that some of that is healthy, but there's also something to be said about just brushing it off. But in terms of being a younger guy and doing that, I mean, it's a hard thing that you have to go through, and I think that that's why, you see a lot of young defensemen kind of go through some lulls or things like that. And those are some of the things that you just have to learn to deal with. And that's part of the maturation process of becoming, a steady, solid player in the NHL is that
What kind of things did you do in your life that help you be able to not like, as you say, not have those feelings and be able to let it go, like wipe the slate clean and
I think it's, how there's a few different tools, that you can do. I mean, obviously like some of the mental skills and just developing some of that
were
F
there
you
coaches though? Were there coaches that treat like that to help you be able to do that, or like being have a
uh,
relationship with them, or was it all on you?
Um, I think a little bit of both. It depends on the coach. You're probably not getting that a ton from the head guy, but you're getting that from an assistant. Um, I had John Stevens for a long time, and he helped me a lot with stuff like that. And also to be fair, that the head guy, Daryl Sutter, I remember we were I think it was my rookie year, and we were on the island, and that was back when they played at Nassau. Um, and I got absolutely dangled one-on-one in overtime by Mark Streit or Street, whatever. The Swiss guy, Mark Streit. I don't know. I should know that, but um,
You've been able to let it go.
clearly, right? Yeah, yeah. I'm like, I just started sweating, and I'm just, this.
Yeah.
Uh, no, but I got dangled by him, and we lost the game. And I was like, as someone that cares, and as an athlete, like I didn't want to. I felt like I let my team down. Like it was horrible. And I was clearly showing that, the disappointment in myself. And Daryl Sutter pulled me aside before we got on the bus, and he said something along the lines of, he's like, "Hey, you are our best player tonight. Don't forget that it was one mistake. Who cares? Let's move on. Let's go to New York and get another 2 points." Or I think he was referring to like the Rangers or whatever. And to me, something like that, like little tidbits from a coach like that, I mean, that instills confidence in you and that helps you get through it. It still bugs you, it still bothers you, but so there's things that you can learn from a coach like that, but then also it's like that's on part of that's on you to figure it out. And if you want to stick around, then you're going to have to find little mental tricks. I always found the next shift as being, really important, like trying to do not trying to do too much, but do something that involves or gets you involved in the game, like the old adage, I mean, give a hit, take a hit type thing. And there's an element of that to get yourself into a game, but then kind of pull yourself out of, maybe a bad shift before or a mistake. But um I also had a really, really good developmental coach in Mike O'Connell. He's virtually done everything in the game of hockey, from management to coaching to playing in the NHL for a long time, and he's someone that I still talk to a lot now. But he always had a thing where he said, when something like that happens, you obviously your confidence goes and you're down on yourself. So what's the first thing that happens to a young defenseman or a hockey player? Their head drops and they start looking down. So he kind of got me, and this is something really small, but and I worked with it actually with a couple of the younger guys in Vegas too, where we would do stuff in practice or in a game where it's like when you get the puck, I want you to immediately like take an active effort of just getting your head up right away. And I don't know, that was always just something that helped me kind of pull myself out of that. And it's like, all right, well, I get my head up, I can make a play because when you're like that, you make plays with your head down, things just compound, and it's just and you go down one way, and it's just little things that try to get you out of that. But there's little tricks here and there.
It's funny you say Mike O'Connell, OC. So when I went to Detroit, he was there, and he's a treasure and such a heady defenseman when he played, and then played his way, worked his way up through management. Last time I saw him, he was a scout, I think, with someone, but he was a GM in Boston for a while, wasn't he, Marty?
Yeah, he was a GM in Boston, and he was the one who traded Joe Thornton. So he is a lot of people were not a fan of that, as you can
Yeah.
imagine in Boston. But then he was the basically head of development for LA when I was a younger guy there. And then, he's been a scout, but he's been to all my cup parties, he's been to my wedding. He's helped me a ton in my career. I have a few guys like that over the various stages of my career, and OC is one of those guys for me. I'm really lucky to have been able to learn from him. But we watched a lot of film together in the minors, and he helped me out a ton. And he lives in Boston, so he could just come up to Manchester at the time. And he worked with all of us defensemen. It's not just me. There's a lot of us young guys that owe a lot to him.
Hey, so just changing gears, like a mentor like that, you talked about John Stevens, and right now Vegas is getting ready to take on Colorado. Talk about, I don't want to say depleted defense, but depth on defense is showing up big time in the end of the Anaheim series with Hutton, who didn't play a lot during the season. He jumped in. Coughlin, who was out was with Henderson for the vast majority of the season. He jumped in, and then Korzak, he was kind of in and out of the lineup a little bit in the Utah series and Anaheim series. They jump in for the Korzak comes back in for the deciding game, 5-1, game six against Anaheim. Talk about the impact that someone with John Stevens' experience can have on helping settle these guys, make sure they're focused in the right, and focused on the right things. Like, I mean, you had them when you were a young guy. Not these guys, other than Korzak, like Coughlin and Hutton has been around forever. He's a great vet, but how does that, like, how could you see John's experience and his way of communicating really help elevate these guys because they were terrific.
Yeah, that they their depth definitely, really shine through on that and or in that series. And I think it's something that you have to rely on because inevitably throughout a series, unless you're one of the luckiest teams, which is sometimes required injury wise, you're going to have to rely on that. But a guy like Johnny, I mean, Johnny's been around for a long time. He's won 3 times. He's been to the dance, I think a couple more than that. I think he was there in Dallas when they made the final. But point being, he's been around a long time, and just a guy like him to have a little bit of a calming presence goes a long way. But then, as a young guy, I think that he's good at the X's and O's thing, but he's also good at reading guys and giving them, I guess, somewhat of directions. And I don't want to say dumbing it down, but just making it known from a guy like what is expected from them. And sometimes that goes a long way as a young player where, you just have a conversation with them like, hey, I don't need you to score, 3 goals tonight. I need you to be strong defensively. I need you to be good on the PK or, you name it, depending on which player it is. But I think he's really good with stuff like that, and he's been around. He's dealt with a lot of different personalities, a lot of different kinds of players, and I think that that's in playoff time, one of the biggest things. You see some of these young teams that there's going to be ebbs and flows to a series no matter what, or a game in the playoffs. That's the way it works. It's an emotional roller coaster, but a guy like him who's been able to see that, you lean on your experience, and you can't live in the past, but when you lean on that experience and utilize it in the right ways, because you've seen a lot of stuff, maybe not everything, but similar situations, it helps out a lot. So whenever you have a guy at the helm, especially on the back end with dealing with some injuries and depth and younger guys like that, that's only a positive thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, I'm
To you,
thinking about.
Johnny. Yeah.
But no, I'm
Hey,
just thinking about
Mhm.
like how going through you having so many playoff games and trying to deal with the newer guys compared to the older guys and being a coach and how you change to get your point across with an 18 to 25-year-old compared
Mhm.
to a 25 to 32-year-old. Like there's big difference there, right? So and what he's probably about 50 something. So how does he get it across? Even though he's working with younger people, so it makes him a younger person, there's different, like, people take things different. So
Mhm.
how you like I'm curious how somebody like that is able to like almost Gumby with the times, right?
Mhm. Yeah,
So
yeah, and I think that's a testament to him. There's so many different parts of coaching, but there's the X's and O's side, and then there's dealing with people. And
right,
quite frankly, there's a lot of coaches out there that don't know how to deal with people. And it's, their X's and O's are great. They know the game, they're a strong hockey mind, but when it comes to delivering that message and getting the best out of your players, well, then that's where they lack. Johnny is not one of those people. And
right.
and he is one of those unique individuals that is a very, very good hockey mind. But he also knows how to deal with the guys. And there are some coaches like this is the way I do things, and then that is it. And that's that
Mhm.
old school mentality. But Johnny, I think, and it also depends on the dynamic, I think, of the coaching staff too. Like it's okay if you have a head guy that's like that, but then you need your assistants to be able to be the liaison between the head guy and the players, right? And that's where I think Johnny has been able to finesse that a little bit, and he knows I guess how to filter some of the, if the head guy is really barking, then he can filter that out and then deliver it in a way that he knows his guys are going to respond. And whether that is, to the decor as a whole, because a group has an identity and has a personality in itself, or if it's the individual player. And so I think, if he wasn't able to do that, then he wouldn't be around as long as he has been. And like I mentioned before, he's dealt with a lot of different players, a lot of different personalities, and he knows how to get through to guys. But I think that is why, like, coaching is just the people part of it is just so important. And I had this conversation with Matt Green, he's my mentor. He was my D partner in all those runs, um and now that he's behind the bench, or he was this year for LA, I thought that he was going to be so successful, and he was, because he's a good hockey mind, but he knows how to talk with people. He knows how to, you know, I guess, meld with different personalities, and that's something that is just, I think, so overlooked sometimes, and it's hard, I'm sure, for a coach where you don't want to be like a buddy or a friend, because there's still got to be that hierarchy, but to be able to finesse that a little bit and have a good balance is something
I
that's
think you
really
can have a
important.
friendship. I just still think you can have a friendship, but
Yeah,
you got there's got to be like as you say, a hierarchy. Because
yeah.
at the end of the day, skill has changed more than X's and O's, right? Over the years.
Um, yeah, I would say that. I mean, there's certain things that have been brought into the game, X's and O's wise, but I think fundamentally, the game is very much the same. But yeah, the skill, I mean, it's much faster. Guys are way more skilled, way more capable. Everyone can shoot the puck. Most everyone can skate. A lot of guys have really good hands. So I would say that the skill part has changed a lot, but the fundamentals are still, if you don't play strong defense, you're not going to win, and
Right.
I think that's never going to change. Um, but yeah.
Hey, so just to kind of put a bow on that, like if you talk about Matt Green and Johnny Stevens, who Matt Green played for, right?
Yeah.
You guys played for John in LA, but John, also, and I think this goes to all the assistants in Vegas. They changed coaching with 8 games left, right? And they've slowly worked their way to their game. And it hasn't been a straight upward trend, but they've been ascending, obviously, because now they're going to play Colorado, which has, been a story unto itself this year. But being able to get the team back to where everyone thinks it should be. Plus, you've had a head coach change is a real testament to those guys. And in LA, they changed the coach, and Matt came onto the bench, and they were able to get in the playoffs. So, in their own right, there was a high level of success there because 16 of those teams out of 32 don't make it. It's very interesting. Like you watch the team play, but you don't think about the dynamic behind the glass or in the dressing room or off the ice that has to meld together to get these guys going, right? So it's both cases are different. John's been around a long time. Matt's just getting into it, but I think to finish up, you're saying both guys are very good communicators, and so we'll look for Matt Green to embark on his 20-year career now because it was spoken.
Yeah. I'm excited to watch him. I think he is perfect for this, and I think he was meant to do something like this. He's been doing the or developmental team role. But for him to get a chance behind the bench, I think um, you mentioned it. It's like you can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't have a good room, or if you don't have good chemistry, and it's not just chemistry amongst the guys, but chemistry amongst the coaching staff, and just a good culture, you're just never going to be successful. And that's not, it's not like I have a ton of experience outside of the hockey world, but I imagine it's the same thing. I mean, it's if you don't have good family chemistry, I mean, it wouldn't be family if it weren't dysfunctional at some point, right?
Yeah.
But like it goes for anything. It goes for an organization of that's any group of people that's trying to accomplish a goal. You know, if you don't like each other, if you don't have a good dynamic, well, then you're never going to be successful. So I think, I mean, a really good word that you just used was a communicator, and and that just goes such a long way. You know, you hear about all the time, like coach speak, like you got to talk out there, you got to talk out there. Well, that doesn't just happen on the ice. That extends to off ice. That extends into the room and the communicate. Like Torts has talked about that, where there was one comment I think when we were working. I can't remember if it was game 3 or 6 um, in the first round, but Torch talked about the difference between coaching at a team and coaching with a team, or coaching at players or coaching with players, and that's a big difference, and it's good on him for recognizing that because you can't just coach with players if they've got a really young team and guys don't know, but a team like Vegas, who is a veteran club, who a lot of guys, I think they have the most guys on their roster out of any team in the league that's won in these playoffs right now, and that's a distinct difference where he said I have to coach with these guys because they're the ones out there that are playing the game. They're the ones in encountering the different situations that we want to address, and good on him for recognizing that because that goes a long way. Now there is a time to coach at players, so like don't give me, this is not like just some buddy buddy system. Everyone needs a kick in the rear
Yeah.
sometimes, but a little bit of a balance of that.
Yeah, ebb and flow. Let's talk about the next series. Let's get involved in the next series
Mhm.
between the Avalanche and the Golden Knights. But
Mhm.
let's talk about something before. What's your most favorite goal of this playoff so far?
Um, it's funny. I was on Mallard's podcast the other day, and he put me on the spot too. So I think this is might be where or what you're getting at. But I no, Marner's goal was incredible. Like I've never seen anything like that. Um, I said it on theirs too that it's impressive his between the legs just from a physical skill standpoint. But what is even more impressive is that two things. One, I truly think that was the only way he could have put that puck in the net. Otherwise he's just burying it right into Dostal's pads, chest, not going to go in. But the fact that in that moment he could mentally go there and know that that was the only way he could score, and then his brain to actually tell his body to act on that, like that to me, like I don't have that club in my bag. And I would say probably 90% of the league, maybe more, doesn't either. And it's like if I ever like I couldn't even dream of doing that. Like in that moment, I would have had a better chance of firing that thing into the stands than I did putting it in the net that way, right? So his was incredible, but I have to go with my boy Nabber. That changeup that he had, the shorthanded goal in Game 3. I think that was my favorite goal of the playoffs. Maybe because I saw it live as well, but I had seen McNabb do that changeup in practice so many times and score over, the course of our LA days and then Vegas days. But for him to bust that out during the playoffs in like a road game in the second round, like that was just awesome. And people were I saw some people, I tweeted out something. I was like, "Oh, the hockey world's Greg Maddux," like and some people thought like was that on purpose or did he like kind of flub that shot? And it's like, no, that was 100% on purpose. Like that was a calculated move. I've seen him do that so many times before, but that to me and a shorty too. I mean, that was awesome. Is
All
that what
right.
you were getting at or no? Did I
No,
just
I'm just
completely
curious.
miss the mark?
I'm
Yeah.
curious what you thought of the McKinnon goal.
Oh. Oh,
Um,
that
I,
one.
I,
Yeah, I saw the memes
sorry,
like the
sorry,
side
sorry,
by
sorry.
side.
So I don't want to call you a homer, but you're being a homer.
Yeah, it is. The McKinnon goal, I mean, you talk about a stage. I mean, what better stage? A comeback to cap off, to tie the game, coming down or going down 3-0 in the first, short side like that. I mean, that was an incredible shot. But yeah, I am a homer. I got to go with my buddy. But McKinnon's goal. I mean, I guess it's kind of like one of those things where you're like, you see that so much for McKinnon or from McKinnon that maybe you like take it for granted a little bit. But I mean, he he's one of the best players in the world for a
For,
reason. And
yeah.
to have the leader of your club, your best player to be able to do that. I mean, that's you need to win in playoffs, you need your elite players to make elite plays, and that was above an elite play. Just an incredible shot.
I agree with you on two things. I think in Vegas that goal I see the next 5 years you see kids be able to do that all the time now.
Mhm.
So that's something like something that changes the game the way he did that.
Mhm. Yeah, Lidstrom used to do that too. Do you guys remember that? Like he would take a shot on net and he would kind of like purposely knuckle it. And I'd always heard that he practiced that. But he scored a couple times from far out on goalies, and it's just I mean, when a puck is knuckling, it's like it's doing all sorts of weird stuff, just a weird bounce. But yeah, I imagine that that's something that yeah, I agree. 5, 10 years from now, that's going to be like some like mainstream goal, and we're not even going to be talking about it.
Well,
Right.
you see now with the lateral movement, with the defensemen and even the forwards, that's really showing up here in the last several years. Like the lateral movement, being able to get away laterally and getting the puck off your stick. But yeah, McKinnon, yeah, prime time, and for McNabb, I agree. Marty, you have a unique window into that because you saw it when a lot of other people like what you do in private usually always shows up in public. Well, for Braden McNabb, it showed up in a big way, right at the right time, and having the guts to pull that shot off was really impressive. Because if he would have lollipopped it right into Dostal's glove, it would like it took some jam to do that. And just on the Marner goal, I just think of he was going down a cul-de-sac, he didn't like it. The ability when he went to his backhand to realize that that wasn't going to work and how quick he brought it from his backhand through his legs and put it on his forehand and put it in the net. That's what blows me away about that play and the thought process. And Marty, I think you're right. I think it's a very elite mind that can do that. But what do you
But also
what
says how comfortable he is there, right?
yeah, I mean
He's very comfortable there.
he's taken it on the chin for a long time. And now, in the closeout games for Vegas, Marner's been phenomenal. Game 6 against Utah and game 6 against I mean, he's played well the whole way, but in the closeout games, he's been unbelievable.
The other thing too about the Marner goal is that the two passes before that led to it were awesome too. And I guess this is me being a homer again. But it's just like I look at those plays and that breakout play that Shea Theodore had, and he's my boy, so I'm biased, but that's a really impressive breakout play and hard to see, especially under pressure. But then to to have William Karlsson, Wild Bill, make that play like this guy has missed how many months? 3, 4, 5 months this year. And for him to step into a series like that and play that the way that he has, I mean, and to make a play like that is just that's awesome.
Yeah, you got you know what, and Theodore put it in an area for Carlson to handle it, and Carlson had all kinds of pressure on him, and that's like as impressive as Marner's goal is. I look back at you know what when things go well for the Golden Knights and while Bill's in the lineup, he's usually got his fingerprints all over it, and that's an example. And obviously, the finish was incredible, and that takes all the headlines. But that play started behind the Vegas Golden Knights net to spring Marner, and give Marner credit for being able to stretch it and all that other stuff. But anyways, moving on, we've seen some fabulous stuff, and and a guy that hadn't played for 6 months, operating at an extremely high level of Carlson, being able to be that quick when those Anaheim team, who's very quick, was all around him there. So well done all around.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head when things are going well for the Knights, like William Karlsson is a big part of that. I think um again, you got this in my head that I'm just this homer right now, but it's hard because it's my
I didn't mean
buddies and
I
it's
just
the
meant to
team that
I
I
didn't mean to
cover.
chirp you that bad.
Yeah, no, I know. Seriously, we were just talking about letting something go, and clearly I haven't really honed that skill yet. Um, no, but
Fuck you, I'm not a homer.
yeah. Yeah, no, I'm not sensitive, you know.
That's
Uh,
great because
yeah,
we're going to be taking over for the VGK insiders from 4 to 6.
yeah,
Mallard's going to be all choked. We're like,
yeah,
hey, Marty's more of an insider than you are, Mallard. So
yeah. Yeah, suck on
Uh,
that, Mallard. No, but Carly is I think that he's one of the best 200-foot two-way centers in the NHL. And I kind of hold them like to a different scale or a different way to look at that, where there are, I don't know, th those guys you don't like. Some games you notice them like crazy and they play unreal, but then there are some games that they have their best games and you don't notice them at all. And it's hard to explain. And I mean that out of an entirely positive way, that I don't know, he just does all of those little things, and he is very much the glue, and makes that wheel go round in Vegas in a lot of ways that like Mark Stone does, and things like that. But he just does so many of the little things. He's great on face-offs. Just he's so consistent at the little plays that often end up making the biggest difference. And that's how I kind of gauge some of those guys, and that's why he's such an incredible player.
and he, and to finish on that situation with Stone going out and Wild Bill elevating, like that's a massive loss. Like you take McKinnon out of Colorado's lineup, or say a Landeskog, who you can tell now it's back, has totally fortified what they're doing in Colorado. Mark Stone's that kind of guy in Vegas, and Wild Bill helped with when Stone was out of lineup. That absence, there's a massive void there, and Carlson has come in, and he's such a classy player. He doesn't, like we always talk about Kopitar. I always loved, and you played with both these guys, and I'm not going to compare them. But I think there's similarities in both these guys. They're both such Carlson and Kopitar, such classy players, and always seem to be there for their team when their team needs them the most.
Yeah, like those guys are so capable of making highlight reel plays, but then on the flip side of it, they have just such this like quiet part of their game that's so consistent, and people that really know hockey inside and out, they notice some of the things that they do. And sometimes you even have to go back and like you got to rewind the tape. But some of the things that both those guys are capable of and have shown throughout their careers and have had a ton of success doing so, like it's awesome.
What do you see, Marty? Some of the things, so Colorado's been running right up front all year. Vegas had its moments. What do you see in this series that both teams haven't? What does each team bring that the other team maybe hasn't seen in the teams they played so far uh, in the playoffs? Is it, like, as far as what's Vegas going to see that they haven't seen so far, and what do you think Colorado is going to bring that Vegas, and vice versa?
Um, well, I think Vegas hasn't seen a quality of opponent as Colorado, but that's not their fault because Colorado is probably on paper right now the best team in the NHL. Um, I think in terms of Colorado, things that they haven't seen, I hesitate to say this a little bit, but I think that because Minnesota has a lot of grit and a lot of skill, but I think that they obviously had some missing pieces in that series that really hurt Minnesota, but I think Vegas has a very unique combination of being able to play that run and gun style, but then also being able to play that that old school like physical grinding mindset and maybe Colorado had seen that a little bit in LA in terms of like their defensive mindedness, but um I'm really excited to see this matchup. I think, on paper, I would imagine that Colorado's probably favored. Is that what everyone's, thinking? I don't know, but I think that if there is a team that can knock off the Avs, I think it's Vegas and kind of that unique combination that I just mentioned. But Colorado is, I mean, they're so good. Their depth. Um, they have, probably the best D pairing in the world in Makar and Taves. They obviously, we talked about McKinnon, um, but and the depth that they added at the deadline, like a familiar face and Nick Waugh. He's and the cool part is that like they've seen their depth that they traded for have big impacts in the playoffs, and that's almost like if you're a fan of the Abs, it's validating, and I'm sure if you're Chris McFarland, it's also and Joe Sakic, it's validating too because it's like, hey, I brought these guys in for a reason. They're having success. They're making an impact the way that we wanted them to. So, and then in Colorado, they have that goalie tandem, and I know that there's a little bit of going back and forth, but this is going to be I think a really really exciting series. It's a clash of two titans, and uh, I also think that on Vegas's side, the two teams that they played were really good prep for Colorado. You played two teams that have a lot of offensive firepower. Vegas has had to really buckle down on defense. And I think that's going to be really important if Vegas wants to knock off the Avs. I think that they have to limit them to one or two goals a game, and that's it. Because if the Avs get three or more, I think that it's really difficult to outscore them. Now, we could have another game one between Minnesota and it's 9-6, but and I'll just look or sound like an idiot, even more so than I already do. But I don't know. This one I think is going to be a real defensive matchup, and I'm excited to watch it.
It's funny that you say that because what I do is I go, I'm just looking forward to it because I like both of these teams and they're both very strong. I can't pick who's going to win it. That's how I do it, and then nobody can blame anything on me and say
Mhm.
that you picked that because it's
Mhm.
it's going to be exciting any way you look at it because it's not good. There's nobody's going to get blown out. I don't think anybody's going to get blown out.
Yeah.
No,
Boom.
I think
What?
they
What?
play each other well. I think,
I
um,
think you're drunk.
yeah, well, here's the problem with they opened the season here. Colorado opened the season in Vegas and played unbelievable. And then Vegas went in and beat them late in the season in Colorado. And that doesn't matter anymore. But I think to Marty's point, I think Vegas hasn't seen a team with the depth that Colorado has. I'm going to throw in that Colorado hasn't seen a team with the depth at center ice that Vegas has. We'll see if that makes a big difference because many did have some pieces missing. But I'm looking forward to it too. Two teams I really like. I've always liked the Avs, and of course, we support the local team here 100%. So we'll see what comes out of this. But it's two teams that should be a lot of fun to watch.
I think whichever team comes out of the West, though, matches up hard against it's going to be Carolina on the other side, let's be honest. So that's what's going to happen over there.
What do you
Yeah.
think about that, Marty? Like, I mean, Carolina, but who there? We're getting Montreal or Buffalo. This will be out, but it'll be decided by the time this gets released. But do you see who's your pick to get to Carolina? Do you have one?
Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that you've seen this Montreal Buffalo series has been really interesting. Um, I think you see two young teams that are both somewhat in the, and now I know Montreal made the playoffs last year, but are both thrusted into these situations and this emotional roller coaster of a series for the first time, and every time, you you look at either one of the clubs and it's like, well, how are they going to respond? Like after game five, Buffalo going up to Montreal, you're just thinking, how are they going to respond? And I mean, to me, I know Buffalo has had, going back and forth between UPL and Alex Lyon. Dobish has been you know, he's had an unreal performance, but then he's had a couple games where he's let up more. To be honest, if there's anything that I could say about this series, is just so unpredictable, which makes for great entertainment and great hockey. But in terms of going into the game tonight, I don't know. There's so many things that play. Like you can make an argument for either way. Buffalo hasn't done well at home against Montreal. Montreal, but um, I think it'll probably come down to tonight. It's like whoever scores first, and then um, yeah, I don't know. I wish I had a better answer than that, but I just like
That's
you can't
I,
pinpoint it.
I think that's how we all feel about that series. We're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Like,
What the
Yep.
fuck?
this is like,
Yeah.
Yep.
okay, all right.
Glimpses, right? Glimpses of stuff and then glimpses of other stuff. You're like,
Yeah.
whoa, where'd that come from? What do you see? Marty, you played out in West pretty much the whole time. Actually, you were in the Western Conference your whole
Mhm.
career, right?
Yeah.
What give us some stuff that you would be focused on because you only saw Carolina twice a year. I always say to beat Carolina, you got to stretch that series out against them so you get used to seeing that repetitive way they play. If you can get them to, over 5 into 6 games, I think that really starts to even it out. But they've got a lot of experience there. What is something that the team that plays Carolina have to get ready for? And to be successful, what do they have to do?
I I think you just made a really good point, and I'll get to that in a second. I think first and foremost, if these guys are going to have 12 days off, you got to have a good start to the series. And I don't know. 12 days is just unheard of in the playoffs. And I'll be the first to say it. I would not like it as a player at all. Playoffs are a very rhythmic thing. And I suppose if you're nursing a pretty, if you're playing through a pretty severe injury, well, then that's one thing. To get 12 days, that's an absolute godsend. But if you're not, and you're in any other situation than that, that is just to me too much time off is too much time off. And
Hmm.
and and I said this on Mallard's show too, like, the players you can say what you want about that, but I feel bad for Brindamore and his staff. Like, what the hell do we do for
Hmm.
Right.
12 days? Like, I, I mean, first of all, you don't know who you're preparing for. I mean, the good thing is that you're playing or you're preparing for two young teams that are have similar styles of play. So that's good. But like for this 12 days, like, do you give the guys 2 or 3 days off and then you practice twice, give them a day off, then practice a couple? Like, I don't know. There's so many different ways you could skin that cat, but
Nothing but cardio.
yeah, yeah, that's
That's
true.
right.
Yeah, let's be honest. Rod the Bod's got them just grinding right now. They're
Yeah.
probably just they were probably so mad that this series is going seven. They're like God damn it! Like I'm tired. I thought training camp was over in September. Like but
They all lose weight in 12 days.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, they come out, they're all just shredded, like zero body fat. They look like they look like Arnold Schwarzenegger in his heyday all coming onto the ice. Maybe that's a bad thing for Buffalo or Montreal. Maybe they just come out and these guys have just been eating iron for 12 days straight. Um, but uh but yeah, I mean that's hard. Like I mentioned the being being in a rhythm in playoffs, like the I would say when you're playing every other day, you can tell like things start compounding, like your body starts wearing down. and things like that. That gets exhausting. And then when you add in the travel, so like a day or two in between every once in a while is nice for that. But at the end of the day, anything longer than that, you're just like as a player, just like let's get this thing going, you know.
Yeah.
So that's going to be, to come out with a really good start against them. I know that you played a lot more hockey than Carolina, and they've only had to play 8 games. But if you can utilize that freshness, or maybe not freshness, but like that rhythm of just being in the, playing consistently to hop on them who are probably there's that first period they're trying to dial themselves back in. That's going to be big. But I really liked your point, Sharps, on that. Uh, extending the series. And I think that Carolina is a team that, we've talked about it. They play so aggressive that is something that against a team like that, you just want to increase the sample size as much as you can. You want to elongate that series as much as you can because when you play an aggressive style like that, the longer you do it, the more chances you're going to get the other way. And I remember it was, um, I think I said it last time I was on here. Every time that we played Carolina, it was that the main focus was listen, like these guys, it's going to feel like they are just suffocating you. There's going to be nothing open. They're going to be all over you. You look up, there's going to be a guy over top every outlet that you have. You just have to play simple hockey and chip the puck behind them, and I promise you, we will get the chances. Now, in regular season, when you're playing a different team every night, does that always land in your favor? Not really. I've had a couple like 6-1, 6-7 nothing rompings in that building in Carolina, but over the course of a series, it is different. And you can hone on some of the little things, but yeah, I think you got to drag them into the deep and extend that as long as you can and then have a good start. Sorry, that was really long-winded, but
No,
No, that's what we're here for.
thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
I like it because but you also had the words at the end, drag them in the deep. That's the title of your book.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Drag in
Yes.
the deep
Yeah,
without
like the
Marty,
Marty.
Adele song, or that's Roll in the Deep, isn't it?
Roll in the deep. Yeah.
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Marty, how's your play-by-play breakdown going? Your
Uh,
clips.
oh, the AM rewind?
Yeah, AM rewind. I love that.
Yeah, I'm yeah. I maybe off air I'll tell you the origin story. I think I might have told you actually
Okay.
of the name and what I really wanted to call it, but I can't. But we'll talk about that later.
It
But
was denied.
yeah, well,
Oh, I
it wasn't even denied. It was just like, yeah, that was funny. It was actually me and Rogo, the video coach, and it was nothing like obviously bad or inappropriate, but it involves some potty humor that I didn't think would bode well if I'm trying to make a thing of this. Um, but
D, D's nuts
yeah, yeah.
with AM.
It did not involve a D's nuts joke. Although maybe if I come up with something good, I might need a name change. But yeah, that's the accounting major in me kicks in there. Where it's like name change, where they always talked about menu changes and how significant of a cost that is for a company because of just all the things you have to reprint and this and that and the literature. But the good thing is that the AM Rewind is very much an unpaid internship and experiment right now. So I wouldn't have an issue changing a logo because it would just involve me asking Chat GPT or some AI. Um, but no, it's going well. I'm still playing around with it. Uh, Trying different things. Last one I did Marner. I did his 3 goals, and I tried to keep it a little bit shorter on each one. I got some good advice from Mallard. I think I was rolling them out too much. So I'm kind of running at like a Tuesday, Saturday clip, maybe Wednesday, Saturday, depending on it. But it's been fun. It's been a fun experiment. It's been fun to, my whole thing was at the beginning is that I just wanted to showcase the talent in the league that doesn't always end up on the score sheet or show the reason why these highlight reel goals happen. And so it's been fun to keep me involved in the game a little bit. I think that people have really enjoyed it. I've slowly expanded it from different platforms and I'm on Twitter and TikTok, which little piece of me died inside when I made that that account, I'll be honest. Um, and and just gave my retina scan to the Chinese government by doing so. But um but then now, starting the YouTube channel. So it's been fun to kind of play around with, and I've gotten a lot of good feedback. I think people enjoy it, and if people are listening to this and they enjoy that kind of thing, uh again, something that kills me to say, like and
What's the YouTube
subscribe.
channel
Yeah.
called?
It's called the AM Rewind.
AM Rewind
Yeah.
on YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok. Your favorite.
Yes. Yes, my favorite. And it's AM because of my initials, but then also I usually drop them in the morning. So the morning
Oh,
rewind, kind of like the
ooh.
Monday morning quarterback, like
Yeah,
idea
yeah.
type thing. Um, but yeah. So it's been fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Good.
Congratulations on that.
Do you two subscribe or no?
No,
I didn't know
we
about
just
it, but
tell
now I
people
know about
about
it.
you.
Oh, okay. All
I'm
right,
going to
You
cool.
know
TikTok
I'll
what?
right
check it
now.
out.
Only when you put on clips that I say, Marty, hey, did you have a look at this one? And I think so. I've watched one. No,
Yeah, no,
just kidding.
Sharp's got a shout out in one of them. It was the
I,
Panarin goal against the Islanders
I,
back.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
Hold
got
on.
another one for you. You might have already used it, but I won't say it on the air. I'll
Yeah.
give it to you because you might not like it. So right on. Okay, LB, you got anything? What you gonna watch a 4 minute clip of Marty breaking a play down when we
No,
just sit here or what?
AM Rewind.
It's pretty cool. I like AM Rewind. It's kind of like got that SoCal vibe to it. It's kind of cool.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Like
Yeah,
Westwood
it's
Run.
yeah, and just let me give a forewarning. It is, the production value is not great. I catch a lot of flack for the video resolution, but I'm doing the best I can here. And also, like, this is a free thing, and the amount of people that complain about cool free shit on the internet, and it's like, I don't I like I'm doing the best. This is the video quality that is available to me. And unless someone wants to provide me 4K and then a computer to be able to analyze all that data, like, I'm all for it. But until that day comes and I can figure all that out, like, you're gonna have to go with a slightly lesser resolution. But I think, like, I still get the point across. It's not like it's Sega Genesis or NHL 93 here. Like, or like those old WWE games, or but yeah, so I
I'm having a hard time finding you.
Marty, I feel like you're
how
lashing out against all the guys that chirp you that you used to play with that check out your site. I have a feeling there's some guys that are chirping you about that.
yeah,
So that's a way to take them back down, like to back off.
yeah,
Doing the
yeah,
best I can.
yeah,
Just
seriously.
got back from the gym too. You're jacked, Marty. The way things are going with the Vegas D, I think you might be called up on in this series. Right? They're on their eighth depth defenseman here, so maybe you could be number nine.
Hey, I'm telling you, Krim, if you're listening to this, I'm ready.
Oh man.
I've been training at sea level, so it might be a little bit of a jump
That's
going to
just
altitude, but
Yeah,
if you need me.
yeah,
No, I actually had that conversation just a couple days ago, and I'm like, or actually it was yesterday. And I think it would take me going out to block a shot on the flank on a PK and getting hit once where I'd be like, all right, I'm out.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
this is like, I'm going home. Like, we talked about going straight to the Zamboni tunnel and
that's
going right down. And I'm like, that would be me. So, like,
you just
I'm enjoying not getting body checked when I hang up this call and just
yeah.
walk over there. Like, I like the fact that I'm not getting plastered into the first row nowadays.
You just hear the first shot hit him and you just hear a fuck this.
Marty, you're good for warm up, eh? No bucket. Like you'd give him a good warm up, but after that, all
Yeah.
bets are off, eh?
Yeah, yeah. See, like, I can't
He
even.
enjoys the national anthem.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Get the juices flowing a little bit. Yeah, I actually, fun fact, I never went no warm up, or excuse me, no bucket in warm up. I did a couple times when we had to for outdoor games,
Mhm.
but I always said that I had enough bad luck of getting hit in the face and the head that I didn't need to subject myself, to that extra danger every other night. But I mean, I got pelted a couple times in warm-ups. Shout out Nick Hague. He still won't admit it, but we actually did like a video investigation. This is like the COVID year when we couldn't do anything or leave the hotel, so it became a big to-do. And we essentially narrowed it down after looking at the video that it had to have been a left shot coming down the left side, the angle, but he hit me square in the throat. I couldn't talk. Yeah, right off the bar. It's like, man, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And the
Hey, how
same
about
that same game, one popped up in the air and hit Riley Smith, landed right on his head. He had to get zips in his on the top of his head.
yeah.
So yeah, Nick Hague, you want to talk about a liability in warm-ups? My goodness, this guy is an absolute I almost called Nationwide to take out an insurance policy because of this guy. Like anytime I'm on the ice with him. That's why we call them AK-14.
You really do.
Yeah, yeah, it's true story.
AK-14.
AK-14. Well, there was the game. He took the clap bomb and put one right off the side of Jack Eichel's head. Yeah. I've got a video. I got a video, or excuse me, a picture of Jack. I sent it to him like a month ago, just randomly. Like it came across in my photo reel. And it's just Jack sitting at the card table on the airplane, and he has this laser patch thing glowing to help get rid of the swelling in his head from Hager's slap shot. So
Oh, that's awesome.
oh man. So make sure when you release this, tag Nick Hague. Just an absolute liability out there.
I love it. We gotta let you go.
Best guy ever, but man, is he a dangerous cat?
We better let you go before you start taking everybody down the league.
Yeah.
Yeah, who else I got?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I think
Zach Whitecloud.
you got any shout outs, Marty? I mean, you kind of shouted out.
I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
you did. You just
yeah,
did
I got-
short.
I got to shout out Hager. You know what? I'm actually I actually have a beef with that guy. So shout out Hager. I told him that I was gonna buy him dinner. I was gonna DoorDash him dinner, and I knew that he was gonna. And this is for something like entirely unrelated, but um, and he's just ignoring me because he's and I'm like, I'm not, I'm, if I'm nothing else, I'm persistent. So like, just let it happen. Like, accept it before it destroys you. But yeah, I'll give a shout out actually to Zach Whitecloud. He's over at World Championships right now, and he's texting me and just with his hand out all the time. And this is an honor, and I'm very happy to do so, but I'm the officiant for his wedding, this summer. Excuse me, not his wedding, but Maddie, his fiance's wedding. And that's a point that I'm trying to get across where I'm like, Zach, it doesn't matter what you want. Like, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but he keeps asking me to give more speeches. So I'm like, I'm already doing the wedding. He asked me to speak at the welcome drinks and then somewhere else. I can't remember the third one, but it's like, dude, I like three different speeches.
That's
Like
a
I
lot.
thought it was enough getting up to Kelowna from Traverse City in the summer. Like, and then he's got his bachelor party even further up in BC. And I'm like, my goodness, man, like between my bank account dwindling and then all the airplane hours, like I'm gonna have to have Sharps give me something with Alaska Air. Like
Oh my God.
and rocking the middle seat from
Yeah.
Traverse City to
Yeah.
Kelowna, three flights, man. That's
Yeah.
brutal.
Oh, I was
I'll
gonna
sell
say
you, Marty. I'll sell you
that's
some
not one
cash.
day. That's not a 1 day trip. That's at
No.
least a 2 day trip, Traverse City to Kelowna.
Yeah, I have to take three flights to get there.
Where do you go? Detroit, Vancouver,
I,
Kelowna?
Yes. Yeah, or some variation there, maybe through Chicago and then Seattle and then Kelowna. I can't remember. Because I have to go up there once for his bachelor party and then I have to go up there once for the wedding.
Wow.
Um but yeah, so
Twice.
You're gonna be
yeah,
busy.
twice. Yeah. Yeah.
I
I'll look,
wonder.
I'll Venmo or Zelle you some cash. Maybe I'll see if I can find a coupon for you, Marty.
Yeah,
Help
yeah,
out a little bit.
I'm not asking you for cash, just maybe a coupon or maybe like bags fly free, something like that. You know, just a little, just throw
Yeah.
me a little bone.
Yeah,
You know?
I'll cover your bags for sure because
Yeah.
I imagine
Yeah.
you're gonna be packing quite a few. So
As a
yeah.
matter of fact, like, no, I'm not gonna ask you. I'm just gonna I'm just gonna invoice Whitey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Guys, you should.
You know what? He should be sending a charter airplane out there for you. Maybe you could talk to him about that.
Yeah. Hey, that now we're cooking with grease, you
Yeah,
know?
exactly. So,
Um, LB, I read in the Easy Reader the other day that you're coming out. No,
Well,
no,
I'm just the easy
where?
reader just made me
no,
laugh. That's what made me
yeah,
laugh.
the
No,
Hermosa
no,
Easy Reader. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I
So
read that you're coming out to Magic Comedy Club here in
yeah, you
Hermosa.
want to come out? I'll be there on the 28th. It's sold out, but I can get you a couple tickets if you want.
Oh,
Oh boy,
oh,
sold
damn.
out. It's sold out,
Uh,
Marty.
Hold
I'm
on.
the Vegas Golden Knights of the Hermosa Beach.
28th.
Yeah.
The Thursday.
Oh, that's a Thursday? Hell
That's not
yeah, man. I'm in. Date
okay.
night maybe with
What's
my
that?
can I bring my wife?
Yeah, do you want to bring, what do you want to bring? Four? You want to bring two? You want to bring, what do you want?
Uh yeah, I don't want to bring my kids, so no.
No, don't bring
I
your
don't.
kids, but do you have
Yeah.
friends? Do you,
I'll take 2 tickets and one WestJet voucher. How about that?
oh my God, a WestJet
Oh
voucher.
yeah,
What's
yeah.
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 Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good shout out.
No,
Yeah.
we would oh, look at this. This guy just doesn't get it. Look who's calling me right now. Darren Millard. Hey,
Oh, hey,
should I
he's just
answer it?
sour.
Yeah, definitely
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah.
Hey man. Hey, I'm on orange slices right now and you're you're interrupting. Do you have anything to say? Okay.
That's not a
Okay.
chance.
He says, all right, I'll see you. I'll call you
Hey,
after.
hey, Marty,
Oh,
ask him if
wait,
he's
hold on.
skating at 2 o'clock today. Is
Oh,
he skating
Sharps
today?
wants to know if you're skating at 2 o'clock today. Okay, he said no. He told you yesterday that he's taking his truck in,
He said he
but I'll
would
skate
try. He's
tomorrow.
not,
Yeah.
tell him he's not trying hard enough.
Okay. Well, he also said that, yeah, yeah. He also said, Ian, make sure you're funny. You're supposed to be funny. But out of the two of you, you are his favorite on the podcast.
Hysterical.
He's laughing. All right, I'm gonna go. All right, see ya. This is riveting podcasting.
This
All
is
right, bye. Oh,
Oh,
that's
man.
funny.
All
Yeah.
right.
That's the only time somebody hasn't been put on speakerphone in this country.
Yeah, yeah. I figured like there's a special place in hell for people who like have their conversations on speakerphone in
Oh
public.
yeah.
Like that drives me bananas. Yeah,
Bananas.
bananas. But yeah, no, my wife and I, we'd love to come down to the show.
Love to have you.
Yeah, that'd be really fun. And I mean, I'll sit in the back in the shitter if it's sold out. Like, I mean, obviously I knew it was sold out,
No,
but
I'll get you good seats. We'll put you right up there. Right under the home team sign.
yeah, just as long as you give me a middle seat so it stays
Yeah.
true to all these flights
Yeah.
that I've been taking and Sharp's been giving me shit about.
Yeah, Marty and I are working through the middle seat issue that he has, but I think we might, I don't know, we'll try and fix it before White Cloud's wedding. But
I'll be a better friend than Zach Whitecloud. I'll come to your town.
Okay, thank you. No, that'd be super fun.
but okay, so anything else? You got a shout out to LB?
Yeah, I got a shout out. I just we're at the wedding. We were at the wedding of Dylan and Andrew this weekend, and a shout out to the whole Kaysen clan out here. It was just a great time, and in the on the Virginia shore, and weather was perfect. Had a couple drinks. Nobody got hurt, and congratulations to Dylan and Andrew. Who Dylan was our flower girl. That's how quick time flies. So.
Mhm. Yeah, and it sounds like the family's still talking, so that's all good.
I
My
taught I taught Finn our
Oh,
nephew.
jeez.
This is now called a silent unicorn. That's what that is, right? So
I
taught
always
him.
I always refer to it as a freedom rocket.
That's hysterical. Well, it's now called a silent unicorn, and
Okay.
I taught Finn our 12-year-old a silent unicorn to you, sir.
I'm not
I
going to shake
love
your
that.
hand.
He's telling people to fuck off left, right, and center now.
I got to shout out. This one came to me during the pod. I'm going to shout out our friends with the HSK BMAC, Brian McCormick, who does the play-by-play, Jamie Heward, Ryan Craig, Brett Kissio and Freddie Brathwaite, who put up with me coming down and throughout and Speltsy, the GM, throughout the season, whether they won or lost. I'm supporting you, boys. Wasn't always fun when they lost, but they had a lot of wins. So congrats to those guys. A shout out to our HSK crew and BMAC, who takes such good care of me when I do the games with them. So that's my shout out this week.
Love it. Loved
I
all.
love it.
Love to all.